Are the illegal immigrant numbers real or are they fudged? Let's do a deep dive about some of the numbers. This is kind of, we talked about this a bit yesterday. Everybody's been talking about the unauthorized immigrants that are here in the United States are being rounded up and deported. And we've seen the videos of the empty stores and people saying there's way more, a lot of undocumented here. There must be more than they claim because the stores are empty. People are afraid to show up to work. They're all self-deporting. What's going on here. So I decided to do a little bit of looking and I want to show this to you. And then we could kind of decide whether or not we think they've been lying to us about these numbers. So look at this graph here. This is the number of estimated immigrants, unauthorized, undocumented immigrants in the United States. This is not the annual border crossings. This is the number, how the population of that particular group has changed year after year after year. So starting in 1990, the estimate number of undocumented in the country was 3.5 million. Then by 1995, and you see this graph going up very much, that slope is going straight up. 5.7 million by 1995. In 2000, it was 8.4 million. In 2005, which is about where that peaks out, about 2005 to 2007, they claimed the number was 11,000. And since then, or actually in 2007, it peaked at 12, but at about 2005, it hit 11 million. And since 2005, the number has pretty much stayed about 11 million. So you're talking 20 years. So for the first, from 1990, for 15 years, from 1990 to 2005, the number went from 3.5 million to 11 million. And then they said, and then it stopped magically. There were no more. I mean, they claimed that, yes, there were people that crossed the border, but the same number of people who came in undocumented, the same number left. So they just replaced. I mean, does that sound believable to you that in 20 years, that number has not increased at all? That the same number of people who crossed into the country just decided to self-deport out as well? Let me show you some other numbers here. This is the number of border crossings per year since 2005. Since they've told us that the number is 11 million, it's just stayed in 11 million. The same number of come and go, that's the same. And they're still saying right now that it's about 11 million, just slightly under 11 million for 2024. In 2005, the total number of encounters. So this is the number of Border Patrol encounters. So this is, some of them they apprehend or they reject entirely into the country, or they are, there's a couple of different ways that Border Patrol can handle it, but these are the encounters. But a lot of these encounters, they get apprehended and they get released into the United States, and then they have to await some sort of hearing, for documentation. But they estimate that out of the total encounters, about 25% of the total encounters are an additional group that go unencountered at all. And they actually just get into the country and, nobody encounters them. They just were able to slip on in and nobody knows about it. So in 2005, they said that their total encounters were about 1.2 million in 2005, about 1 million, almost 1.1 million in 2006. About 1 million in 2007. And the numbers kind of went down with the number of border encounters. The question is, why did it go down in numbers? Because then you could see from 2007, it was about 1 million, and then it goes to 723, down to 556. 2010, it was 463. 2011, it was 340. 2012, it was 365. 2013. So these numbers are low when you're looking at from 2009 all the way until about 2018. It was all in the about 500,000 encounters. The question about those 500,000 encounters is, was it because Border Patrol was soft, or was Border Patrol, were fewer migrants really looking to come across, or did Border Patrol just miss a lot and they just didn't know that many people were coming in? So we don't know the answer to that. It's really difficult to find out. But then the number skyrockets. And by 2019, it's about 1 million again. It went down in 2020 because of COVID, but then it really skyrocketed in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. I mean, these numbers are huge. In 2021, it was 1.7 million border encounters. 2022, 2.4 million border encounters. 2023, 2.8 million, almost 3 million people trying to cross the border. 2024, another 2.8 million. Now, if you just do the basic math on this and you try to say, okay, if you take 25%, so they said that between the years of 2019 and 2024 alone, just those 5 years alone, 6 years, I guess, it was 11 million border encounters in 6 years. So if you were to take about, and they think that about 25% of that number slipped through without anybody knowing, no border encounters whatsoever. That would be just right there in those 5 years. That would be an additional almost 3 million that have gotten through without even being encountered. And that's not taking into consideration the ones that they apprehended and then they let go back into society, right? Or the number of asylum seekers or, a whole number of things. So 3 million would have been added to the number just in these last, they're trying to tell us, well, no, we got better at border apprehensions, we think. So maybe we caught them all. Nobody believes that. I mean, they were streaming in. The numbers were so high, it was like 8 people per minute were coming across our border. Every minute, it was like 8 people per minute, every day for the whole year. Every minute of every day, of every hour, 8 people on average. So there's no way. I mean, there's just no way that the number has stayed 11 million undocumented migrants all of this time when you've got millions of people, millions of people. I wonder what this number is. I didn't actually tally this all up. Maybe I should have done a whole tally of what that number would have been. I mean, if you look at from 2005 all the way to 2019, we know that we're 2018 because that ended up being, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 million. So another 9 million between 2005 and 2018. So 20 million people that they encountered. And so then they would claim that out of the 20 million, they think they didn't catch maybe 25%. In addition, that's 5 million. So the number would be closer to 20 million right now, or 15 to 20 million would be closer to the real number, because when you count how many get through that they don't know about, and then you mix in the ones that they apprehend and then they do catch and release. So you're looking at like 20 million at minimum. And that's probably not even accurate. Border Patrol's probably telling you they're doing a better job than they really are. When they say, well, we catch 75%. How many of you want to believe that? How many of you believe 75% that they do? They're so good that they get 75%. Because I don't believe that. I don't believe that they get 75%. And that's at the border. That's just border crossings. That's just border encounters. That doesn't count for the ones that do fly in and they overstay their visas. They just don't leave. That's another group. This number's got to be way higher. They're trying to tell us 11 million. It's got to be, some people are like, it's got to be 50 million. It's got to be 50 million. And we're a population of 350 million. That is a huge number of people. That's a huge percentage of our population. So what would that be? If 50 million out of the 350 million, so that's like 15% of our population is undocumented immigrants. Does that sound about right to you guys? I don't know. That maybe is a little high. Maybe I would say if it's 20 million out of our population of 350, that would be about 5% of the population are undocumented. That's still a lot of people. That's a lot of people. So those are the numbers. I just wanted to share that with you. I wanted to kind of get into that because there's just no way. And they just kind of hope you don't ever look at these numbers. They just kind of hope that you don't stop and say, wait a minute, how is that even possible? Who self-deported during those years? Where did they go back to? They went back to their home countries. You're trying to make us believe this? There's just no way. The vast majority of the immigrants coming in are from Latin America. 25% still to this day come from Mexico. Then there's a huge number that comes from, mostly Mexico is the number one. And then let me actually give you a little bit of the stats on the others, the other countries. Let me just grab this real quick here. Okay, Mexico has the vast majority that come across. Then Guatemala and Honduras and Venezuela are about the same. Guatemala and Honduras, they're about the same. Then Venezuela, and then other. I don't know what other is. So then maybe that's a bunch of like all the other countries combined. So maybe they're coming in from African countries and Asian countries and from all over the world. Maybe that's other. Then Cuba, then Haiti, Nicaragua, Colombia, then Ecuador, El Salvador, Ukraine, India, Philippines, Brazil, Peru, China, Canada, Russia, Turkey, Romania, and Burma, Myanmar. So still mostly coming from Latin America, Central America, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Venezuela, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Colombia, Ecuador, El Salvador. So that's the vast majority are coming in through the southern border, but I'm sure a lot are flying in and just overstaying their visa. So anyway, interesting. Wanted to go over that with you. Let me know what you think about that. Email me, kim@kimiverson.com. Would love to hear from you, or comment down below. Thanks for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show. If you want to watch the full show, visit kimiversonshow.com. The show airs every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's at kimiversonshow.com. See you there.